Hello bakers and welcome back to Bradley's Baking Bible. Now you might notice something slightly different with the format this week. That's because I'm mixing things up a bit and changing the way we do our recipes to hopefully give you a better view of what I'm doing in the kitchen, but also so I can explain a bit more about the techniques I'm using as well. So for our first recipe, I'm doing a bit of a special. Me and my friends went down to the south of France over Easter weekend and we tried out quite a lot of good cheese, good wine, but also great bread. So the first recipe is going to be this cranberry and walnut bread. Now in France we actually have a cranberry and pecan bread, but I thought I'd change it slightly because I feel like walnuts work better with the sweetness of the cranberries. So I'm going to take you through that recipe, and of course if you like the new format, let me know in the comments down below and I'll try to do that more often as well. So to begin with, in our bowl we're going to pop in 500 grams of wholemeal flour. Now of course you can use plain strong bread flour if you want to, but I've gone with wholemeal because again it works better with the cranberries and the walnuts. Add that into your bowl, and then on one side of the bowl we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of salt, and then onto the other side of the bowl we're going to add 2 teaspoons of yeast. Now the reason we don't mix these together is because the salt will react with the yeast and make it inactive, so you want to keep them separate until you're ready to mix it up. Now I'm going to place that onto my KitchenAid stand mixer. Of course you can do it by hand if you want to, but I prefer just to do it with the stand mixer. I'm going to pop that down and make a little well in the middle with that. And then I'm going to pour in 350 millilitres of warm water. Once you've done that, you want to knead it for about 5 minutes. Of course, if you're doing it by hand, try to do it for about 10 to 15. Now while your dough's in the stand mixer, you can get on with the other ingredients. For this I'm using 60 grams of chopped walnuts. Now, as I said, I'm not a massive fan of nutty or seedy breads. So what I'm going to do is cut these up quite finely. But of course, if you want to have them a bit chunkier in your bread, you can. And now I'm going to also add in 75 grams of cranberries. Quite like having them chunky so you get a nice bite of sweet cranberries, but I'm going to still give that a little bit of a dice before we add that into the dough. Cool, so once you're happy with your fruit and nuts, raise up your dough and then pop that into the stand mixer. And then just pop that back down and give it another 5 minutes to knead through. So once you finish kneading your dough, it should be nice and smooth and still springy when you touch it like that. So all you need to do next is grease the bowl with some oil, and then we're going to transfer our dough from the stand mixer into our bowl, pop that in there and then cover it with cling film. Now we're going to leave this to rise for about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes in a warm place. So once your dough has risen and doubled in size, it's time to shape your dough. So I'm going to peel off the cling film there and just scatter some more flour onto my work surface. Your dough out of the bowl. You can see all of those strands there from where it's risen. And then I'm just going to gently knock back some of that air. Now you can just pop this straight into a loaf tin and then let it rise again, but I'm going to shape it into a bit more of a circle loaf like we had in France. So all I'm doing is picking it up gently, using the palm of my hands to tuck it underneath, and then you get a nice smooth finish on top. You can obviously pat it down if you want to get slightly bigger, and then keep working that until you're happy with the size and shape. Cool, so I'm quite happy with my loaf now, so all I'm going to do is pick that up carefully and pop it onto a greased baking tray, which is what I'm going to put into the oven. Now you can score the bread as well just to give it a nice effect, so all I'm going to do is take a knife, or if you've got an actual scorer you can use that, and just gently break the surface of your dough with it. So I'm going to do 1 down the middle and then 2 around the side as well, just like that. So once you're happy with your design, we're going to get some more cling film, wrap that over the top again, and repeat the process of letting that rise for about an hour until it's doubled in size. Now what I like to do as well is just give it an extra nice finish. Is all the excess flour that was on our table surface, I'm just going to sprinkle that over the top, and that's going to give you a nice rustic finish on the bread. Now what I like to do to get the perfect crust as well is, while I'm preheating the oven to 180 degrees Celsius, put a pan into the bottom, and then just before you close the door, pour in a glass of boiling water, so it'll give you lots of steam and that'll help get the perfect crust as well. Bake that for 20 to 25 minutes until it's golden brown, and you'll have the perfect sweet smelling cranberry walnut bread. So there you go, and after 25 minutes you've got this beautiful sweet smelling bread that will fill your kitchen with the best scent ever. You can make sure it's cooked by just tapping on the bottom, you get that nice hollow sound, and obviously we've got that nice golden crust on top as well. So I'm going to cut into that so you can get a nice cross section as well. So there you go, you can see it is jam-packed with those cranberries and walnuts, and it's such an amazingly versatile bread. Although it's got cranberries and it's quite sweet, you can use pretty much anything with it. Put avocados on it, put it with brie, bread and dips, it is perfect. So if you like it, give it a go and let me know what you think. So there you go, that is all for the first recipe of our new format. If you like it or you want to suggest any improvements, let me know in the comments down below and I'll try to do it for next time. Thank you so much for watching, don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.